Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Last Podcast of Krypton. I am joined by a very, very, very favorite fighting game player of mine, Mr. BeyondToxin. How you doing, good sir?
How you doing, Theo? I'm doing good.
So how's the Scarecrow struggle going, man?
I don't know, man. It's going well. You know, just grinding whatever matchups I possibly can, and it is what it is.
Do you and White Boy like text each other at night before you guys go to sleep, saying how like the plus frames just like aren't enough, and then Paulo?
Yeah, there was sometimes I'm about to make this general rule. If you ever come up to me and say that Scarecrow's Fear Wave should be 0 on block, I will insta ban you on site, like no questions asked. So me and White Boy, we always make sure that we regulate and make sure that +6 is fair, because if you make it 0 or -1 or -2, you want to obviously kill our character, and that will not happen. That will not happen.
I am like not gonna lie to you right now, so this is probably grounds for you to ban me in your Twitch chat, but like there was a point I'd say around Defend the North. So it's like I lost to White Boy in that tournament. So before I lost to him, I said that Scarecrow's Fear Wave should be neutral on block.
Oh my god.
Yo, after I lost to him, I said, his Fear Wave should be like -7 or -8. This is fucking ridiculous.
Peace.
But anyway, we'll get to more of the Scarecrow stuff in a bit. So I do this with all my guests, but I feel like the chat just, deserves to know about your origins. So when I first heard about you, it was during a Mortal Kombat X, with Ermac. So what I want to ask you is, was Mortal Kombat X the first fighting game you got into competitively?
Yeah, it was. As a kid, my dad, we had a PlayStation 2 as a kid, and my first ever fighter that I recall playing was Tekken Tag One, actually.
That game's dope.
And my absolute favorite character in that game was Lei Wulong. Like, it was just something about him. It's just, as a kid, he was like the coolest character I've ever seen in my life. So just every day, my brother and I, we used to play, go back and forth, and I mean, I was like, what, 4 years old? So, I mean, we just button mashed all day. We didn't know what we were doing. And then, just over time, I played fighting games. Fun fact, when the Injustice came on the mobile, I used to play like every single day.
The first
and my dad's like, yo, what game is that? I'm like, oh, it's Injustice on the mobile. He's like, oh, cool. And it was around my birthday, when that mobile came out. And my dad actually got me Injustice 1 for my birthday. And that's when I started kind of getting competitively, because I played the Flash because I love the Flash.
Right.
And I was okay. Like, I wouldn't say I was great. Like, I was okay. Like, I was decent. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, but like I knew some combos. And I told my dad, like, yo, Dad, like, look for tournaments around the area for me. He's like, all right, cool. So we went to this Microsoft store. I beat like one guy, and then like I lost 2 automatically, and I said, oh my goodness, I suck. And then I just completely dropped it. Like, I didn't play Injustice ever again.
Wow.
And
Flash was broken that game, so
yeah, I heard Honeybee told me Flash was at least like top 3 free in that game. But and then after Injustice Gods Among Us, then MKX came out, and then I went ahead and I just played that. So yes, MKX was my first ever competitive fighting game into going into like ESL tournaments and traveling and stuff.
And you definitely had quite a colorful career in that game, for sure.
I did, and I miss it.
I mean, I love how you brought up Tekken Tag One, because you said like that was one of those games where you tended to button mash a lot. Were you also on the team, or I guess the group of people that hated the capos in that game, or in that case Eddie Gordo? Because I know like when you play Tekken on a casual level, like Eddie Gordo is the character you hate.
Is the character? Yep. No, I didn't, because I mean, I just thought the Capoeira was like one of the coolest things ever. So sometimes like I'll pick Lei Wulong and I'll use Eddie Gordo or Tiger, or sometimes I'll play as Lei Wulong and Jin Kazama. Like, dude, that game was just so much fun. Like, no matter what, like my brother could use the same move over and over again, and we still have fun. Like, if there's something that I can go back in time with, it's definitely go back in time and play Tekken Tag One, because I had so many great memories with that game. So many great memories.
Yeah, I mean, it is no question a fantastic fighting game. So there's that.
Yeah.
Now speaking of just where you came from, if I hypothetically heard about you in Injustice 2 and assumed that your first fighting game was Injustice 2, I would assume that the name Beyond Toxin came from Scarecrow and Toxin. I would assume that like that's where that game came from. But obviously, as you just said, Mortal Kombat X was obviously your first fighting game, as a lot of people know. So given that context, where the heck did the name Beyond Toxin come from, man?
So Beyond Toxin actually came from my, I think it was 8th or 9th grade year when Gears of War 3 actually came out. And a group of buddy of mine, back in Gears of War, like Gears of War 2 and 3, I used to play a lot of clan battles, like MOG and underground battles. Like I did everything. So I think I swapped through 4 name changes. Listen to this. This is gonna be really cringy, but this is me like 6th grade year to 9th grade year. Okay. My first ever gamer tag was Chino 1997. Then and then my second gamer tag was Dead Chino, XD with a 3 as an E, AD, X Chino.
Bro, and I thought Thug Nasty was bad as my name.
Dude, listen. And then my third one was Painful Retro. We used to have a clan named Painful. So my name was Painful Retro. I was like, oh my goodness. And the retro actually came from me being a sneakerhead back in the day because I used to love the Jordan Retros. Okay. So I was like, yo, Jordan Retros, Painful, that name combines. And then my 4th gamer tag, our clan tag was Unknown. Bro, you're not ready for this. Unknown Swaggies with a Z at the end was my 4th gamer tag.
Oh my god, dude. I'm like traumatized right now.
Yup. And then my 5th gamer tag was Beyond Toxin because in Gears of War 3 we had a clan named Beyond. And then Toxin actually originated from one of the symbiotes from the Marvel because you have Venom, you have Carnage, and you have Toxin. And my dad got me a Toxin comic book and I was like, yo, this character's pretty sick. So I was like, yo, Beyond Toxin? It matches. Now, when I was doing the ESL Pro League, I was like, I should really change my name because Beyond Toxin is really, really, really bad. And then my first ever top 8, I beat Cowboy, and I made top 8 with the Beyond Toxin name. I'm like, welp, it's too late to change my name, and it just stuck through.
Wow. And would you ever? So is that a name that you think you're just set with for the rest of your esports career? Have you ever thought of like doing a makeover to your name? Because I know it's super rare in the fighting community where people change their name. Like, Lord Peanut, he used to be known as Hysteria in Injustice 1, and then he changed it to
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he used to be known as RM Hysteria, and then he said, yo, I want to change my name to Peanut because I want people who lose to me tell their homies that they lost to some dude named Peanut. But anyway, like, have you ever thought about changing your name in the future, or you just stop with that?
The thing is, my dad actually told me to, I wanted to remove the Beyond part out of my name and keep just like Toxin something. And then one day we actually went to a local and someone called for Toxin. I was like, oh, you mean me? And the guy's like, no, there's another Toxin in here. And I was like, who? And I met the guy and he's like, yeah, I'm Toxin. I'm like, okay, I think I'm keeping the Beyond in my name from now on. And I also did, like you said, like I thought about changing it. But then also, like, when people search me on YouTube now, since I'm already, like, 2 years into this name, if they see Beyond Toxin, like, they're obviously going to, pull up from my old gamer tag. Yeah. But if I get my new one, it's like, damn, like, now they got to search 2 different people. So it's less work for people. So I think I'm just going to stick with Beyond Toxin because I think it's an okay name, but it'll grow on people. It'll grow on people.
I have no problem with your name whatsoever. I mean, like I said, if I never heard of you from MKX, which, obviously I did, like, I would just assume it's from Scarecrow because of
that's what everyone thought, and everyone was like, "Yo, like, this guy's gonna revolve around Fear Toxin. Like, you should play Scarecrow." And I was like, "I'm already gonna play Scarecrow." Like, the character trailer was ridiculous, and like one of his moves is called like Toxin Breath. I was like, "Yeah, this is my character. I like it."
And you basically stuck with him throughout a lot of the game. I mean, you have some Supergirl here and there, but my brain associates you more with Scarecrow. Yeah,
and that's just mostly for like. Just my bad matchups. And to matchups, like, I just know, like, if you're going to pick this certain character, I want to have my Supergirl ready. Because, like, for example, if I know you're a Batman main, like, for example, at CEO, I went into CEO not having a character ready for Batman. And I tried the night before because I found that ATP was in my pool. And I had Lou and Chris at my house. They were sent at my house until the day of CEO.
Right.
I'm like, yo, guys, I need to find a character for Batman or I will lose. And they're like, okay, well, who do you think? I'm like, dude, I'm thinking Adam or Supergirl. And I was like, you know what? Let me try Adam. So that day I played ATP. That was my literally like hour, 5 Adam.
That procrastination, bro.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, this is not going to work out. Like, I'm literally just dropping everything. And my dad comes up to me, he's like, bro, go Scarecrow. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go Scarecrow because he may not know the matchup. And then I got destroyed. I was like, I'm about to get sent to losers bracket. My very first match as CEO. This is not good.
Right.
And then I obviously went back to Adam and I lost again. I was like, well, I'm in the losers bracket. And then I fought ATP again, and I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna try Supergirl. And Supergirl actually ended up working. And I was like, this is one of those moments where you're just like, damn, why did I not think about this at the beginning of the tournament?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, especially early on in the game's life, it's a very, very like trial and error type of thing to do.
Yes, for sure.
That's like the scary thing about just any game at launch is that it's gonna happen where you're gonna play a matchup in tournament that you're gonna learn in tournament.
Yep.
But I mean, anyway, besides that, so Ermac, which was your dude in MKX. I would say when I talk to people about Ermac in a retrospective way, there's some controversy or some disconnect on the feelings between Ermac players and some feelings between like his placement on the tier list. So what I wanted to ask you is where did you put Ermac on the tier list, and where did this Ermac downplaying come from, essentially?
In my honest opinion, Ermac was always, I thought at the beginning of the game, Ermac was a mid-tier character. Now, mind you, I don't know if you ever saw this tier list, but Yomi actually came out with a tier list like early on in the game. And me and Big D noticed that they put Ermac at bottom 5. Like, this is like pre-patch. Like, Mystic was still unviable, so this was just strictly Master of Souls. And me and Big D, we would always say Ermac bottom 5, praise be Yomi. So that's how the downplay really started, because we always like said, yo, Ermac's down bottom 5. Like, Yomi put him there. Like, he's bottom 5, free. And then once he got the buff to Spectral, where he was able to cancel his float into strings, and he was able to do full-on button strings in the float, we're like, okay, hold on, this character might actually have some dirt. And then Mystic got buffed, and we're like, okay, pushes, I think it was -2 or -1. No. Yeah, it was -3 or something like that at the post-patch.
Right.
So at that moment, we actually sat down and we told ourselves, like, yo, this character is definitely like top 10, maybe 7, or like probably like a little bit outside of top 5, because there were like other characters that would, you know, kind of destroy Ermac sometimes.
Right.
But in my honest opinion, Ermac was probably in my tier list, I had him at like 6 or 7. Only because there were some matchups where he really struggled in. Like, Tremor was one of those matchups where he really, really, really struggled in. Alien destroyed him. Sonya destroyed him. Dang, it's been a while. But that's where I would put him. That's where I would put him.
So, basically, let me just make sure my mic's... Yeah. So, basically, what it sounds like is Big D was the only culprit of the Ermac downplaying. So you're basically pinning all the blame on him. You're innocent in this case. Basically, yeah. And then he got top 8. Well, he actually got 4th at Evo, and then that's when everyone's like, you guys really need to stop this downplay. Like, my man just got 4th place at Evo. Like, this downplay must stop. And we're like, nah. Oh my god, dude. I mean, since you guys played the same character, was there ever like any kind of friendly rivalry between you guys throughout the life of the game, especially since you guys were both, you know, from Florida? No, there never was actually. Funny story. I actually when I used to watch the ESL Season 1 Pro League, I saw Big D's Ermac and I was like, yo, this guy's Ermac's like really, really, really good. And there was one time where we were on ranked match and I had my mic plugged in because I was just chilling. Right. And I ran into him. I fanboyed so hard. I was like, "Oh my god, you're D Big D, like the one that's like in the ESL Pro League." He's like, "Yeah, man, that's me." That's how he sounds too. Oh my god. He's like, "Hey, man, that's me." And then I was like, "Yo, this is actually happening." So he actually beat me in the ranks. He's like, "Hey, man, I really like your Ermac. Let's play some more." We actually played 20 games, and he destroyed me. And then he told me a couple of things I needed to work on. I was like, "All right, cool, I'll work on that." Okay. And then he actually was like, yo, are you going to CEO? I'm like, I might because I'm from Florida. He's like, oh, you're from Florida, da-da-da-da. And he's like, nah, bro, go. I was like, okay, I'll go. So I went to CEO, and then this is when he first got sponsored by CR. So he's walking into the venue, and I just see CR, LTH, Big D. I was like, yo, Dad, that's Big D, bro. And my dad's like, who? I'm like, that's the Ermac player. He's like, go say hi. So I literally put my hand on his shoulder. I'm like, hey, man, it's Toxin. He's like, yo, what's up? And, like, we just, like, talked for a bit. I was like, all right, man, what time do you play? He's like, oh, I play at this time. I was like, all right, man, good luck.
And then at that time, I didn't really know anyone in the FGC during around CEO 2015. So I played, and then I lost. And then I followed him on Twitter and all that stuff, and we talked for a little bit. And then I made the top 8 out of ESL, and then like he's like, okay, you're actually really improving. We'll talk more. And then we talk more, and we talk more. And then we actually had a local here where in top 8 winners, we actually fought for the first match. And it was the Ermac mirror, and I actually beat him, and everyone's like, yo, Toxin's the best Ermac. I'm like, no, stop. Like, let's not do this, because obviously I learned from this guy. Like, let's not start this rivalry, because I love Big D. Like, I didn't want him to be like, oh, why are you trying to take my spotlight away from me or whatever. Like, I'm the best Ermac. Like, we never had those rivalries. And then he actually ran it back in losers, beat me, and then reset the bracket on KP and took the whole entire tournament. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough, senpai.
Yep. But no, we never had that.
Right. I mean, even just like mirrors themselves, it's such a weird thing, because to a lot of viewers, there's always this thing where, do mirrors prove who's the best with a character or not? And like, I'm someone that kind of disagrees with that sentiment, because the only thing mirrors prove to my eyes is how good you are at fighting one matchup, and that one matchup is your own character. Like, in the context of Injustice, it's like, okay, if so-and-so beats someone in the mirror, that means they're good at one matchup. Well, what about the other 29 matchups in the game?
29 matchups, yeah.
Yeah. So, I feel like it's always kind of unfair to the person who loses, like, them getting so much heat on... Like the whole Rewind and Samij thing, because you know how, like, Rewind and Samij, like, always go back and forth in War of the Gods and the Cat One mirror, but then it's like... Obviously, Rewind is a tremendous player, and then, like, if he just travels out of nowhere and gets top 8, I wouldn't be surprised, but...
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you ask the majority of the people, they'll say Samij is the better Calvin overall, because not only does he have, like, much more results because he gets to travel more, but he is much more experienced in a lot more matchups. But yeah, but I mean, that's just my whole thought on the mirror thing, since obviously you're no stranger to it, because it seems like what happens in Florida is, like, there's always at a minimum of 2 or 3 players picking the same character. You have the Doomsdays in Injustice 1, the Ermacs in MKX, and now, like, you and White Boy playing. Yeah.
You know, funny thing is, whenever Big D and I were, like, playing the mirror, or, like, we saw the mirror happening, we always used to joke around and say, yay, we get to see who guesses wrong first, because Ermac was very heavy on the 50-50. Right. So, like, when we played, we're like, who's going to guess wrong the most? He's like, I don't know, man. It's a 50-50. Whoever guesses wrong most wins. Like, we always joked around, because Ermac's main, you know, opening up was forward 4, back 3. And we just always joked about that. It was great. I miss those days so much. And I wish he stuck with Injustice, but if MK11 does actually end up happening, I hope to see him back in that.
Yo, Big D has this classic where, like, he'll like appear on Twitter. I mean, his Twitter is active, but I'm saying, like, he always has this, like, specific tweet, like, once every, like, 3 months, where he's like, man, it's time for my scene to get me back in shape. It's time for me as an old man to travel out to tournaments again. Man,
I'm going to KIT, guys. I'll see y'all there.
Man, I don't play this game anymore. It's time to get bodied at KIT, man.
Hell yeah, I get to drown in pools.
Okay, let me ask you this. And this is like my last Big D question before we move on. Before he attended EVO 2016 as 4th place, was his attitude, man, it's time to drown in pools, man? Or did he actually say, like, I might get top 8 this time?
No. He literally said, I'm going to drown. I have not played since, like, 2 weeks, and the last person I played was Vendetta. I was like, bro, Ryan, stop talking that nonsense. You're going to make top 8, bro. And next thing you know, like, I got 13th, and I'm over here sad in the corner, and he's like, yo, like, are you good? I'm like, bro, I just lost, like, so close to bio. He's like, damn, like, he didn't know what to say. And him versus Slayer, dude, I don't even know what happened. I think he did 4-4 teleport or something. Slayer didn't punish it, and Big D, like, completely just destroyed him for not punishing it. And I think, yeah, and then after that, he was like, yo, let's go. I'm like, bro, you got one more into making top 8. He's like, I don't even play this game anymore. And he beat King, and he's like, dude, I made top 8. I don't even play this game. And he's like, I can lose tomorrow my first match. I'll be okay. My man goes and proceeds to make 4th. And he's like, oh, okay. I made 4th place. I guess I should not practice and play more, and I guess I can actually do well.
Bro.
But that was his mentality all of Evo 2016. He did not care if he lost or won, and he made fourth at Evo.
Wow, what a story, and like
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Big D, the OS god, essentially.
The OS god, yep, the OS god.
And before he like DMs or texts both of us like right after this podcast, like, hey, what the fuck, man?
Hey guys, what's going on?
I mean, but anyway, like speaking of mentality, you're someone who I view as a very, very mentally resilient person, because when I've seen some things you posted on Twitter in the past, like you're someone who's gone through like quite a few hardships in the midst of like the injustice season. Like I've seen you post about a car accident that happened to you a couple months ago. You had a job which I think you said you were laid off of, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was.
So not only that, and not only like any other responsibilities you have, like, you know, within your house, and not only the fact that you're also a student. How is it that so much of those hardships happened to you, but you eventually still like rose up for them and just kept on the grind and just kept on like improving as the months went on? Like, to me, that's crazy. So I just want to like pick your brain in terms of like what's going on with that.
The car accident that you saw a couple months ago, that was actually my mom leaving work, and some guy just ran a red light, and that was just like, I woke up and I was at work and I was like, oh my god, like my mom's got into a car accident, like I need to go attend to her. So I went ahead and I went to attend to her. But we actually didn't cover this, but when MKX actually came out, I was playing MK9 a little bit, and my friend was just like, shout out to my boy Elliot Hammond if he ever watches this, but he actually bought me Mortal Kombat X. So because of him, I'm the reason why I got decent at this game. And then during that whole entire process of my senior year, I think it was around December, this is my car accident. I got into a car accident. I was on my way to the gym and I got rear-ended, lady going 60, not paying attention. Jesus. I felt fine. I was like, I don't need no hospital ride, I'll be fine. Went home, I took a shower, and then all of a sudden I collapsed. I was like, okay, this is not good. So I went to the hospital. They said I had a mild concussion, and they wanted to get X-rays and CT scan, and then what else? Oh my gosh, I forgot. Theo, do you remember what it's called when they have you lie on the table and then they pull you through this big machine? MRI.
Yeah.
I got an MRI, and they actually diagnosed me with a herniated disc. So my senior year, I finished football. Dropped scholarships from football because of my injuries. I had a couple colleges looking at me for track for my 100-meter dash, but I couldn't finish my senior year, so I could not improve on my current my current personal record. So I just went ahead and I continued playing MKX, and when I actually had the surgery, when I got put into bed rest, I just grinded every single day. And then boom, I started getting results in it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this seriously. And then when my job just recently in IPS season 2, I went to work. It was a Sunday, and I told him, hey, look, I start school on Tuesday. I need to change my schedule. And my assistant manager goes, oh, the manager's not here. You need to figure it out. I'm like, well, my manager doesn't work Sunday or Monday, and I start school Tuesday. So if you're not going to change my schedule, I'm not going to show up. And he's like, well, you need to figure it out. I was like, okay. So I don't work Mondays. He doesn't work Mondays, so I didn't go. Tuesday, I'm like, oh, first day of class. I have to go to class. I call him. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to show up today. Oh, why is that? Oh, because I have class at 9 o'clock. Like, it's my first day of class. Like, I'm not going to get dropped out. Right. He's like, all right, so just go ahead. When you finish with class, come to work. Went ahead, got out of class. I got dressed, got my coffee. I got my breakfast. I show up, and he's like, oh, before you clock in, Sean wants to see you in the office.
Sean's the manager.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm about to get fired. And as soon as I walk in, he's like, I thought it was absolutely disrespectful that you didn't show up to work today. I'm like, oh, so you thought me skipping school to go to work is more important? I'm like, no, that can't happen. And then he was like, yeah, man, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and let you go. I'm like, all right, that's fine with me. But like deep down inside, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to travel? How am I going to pay for my bills and my tournament fees? Like this isn't happening. And then I just sat down with my parents, and they were like, you know, we're 100% with you. We'll take care of your bills. We'll take care of your gym membership, and just focus on perfecting your craft. I was like, wow, like that's great of you guys. Like not many people, not many parents can do that.
For sure.
So, it kind of hurt me at the beginning, but just like after a while, just like now my main focus is just, building my own, like trying to get up there and like go to my next tournament, get a new sponsor, and then obviously focusing on school full time, because obviously if this FGC thing never really works out, then I need to fall back on school. So going full time to school, I go around like 8 o'clock. So I go to 8 to 12, and then from there I have the rest of my day off. So around like 12 to 5 o'clock, I'm grinding matchups. I'm playing, just doing whatever. Mm-hmm. And then around 7 o'clock, actually 6:30, I head to the gym. I get my workout out and come back home. I grind more matchups and rinse and repeat. And that's basically what I do.
I mean, sounds like a productive day, because you also stream as well, which is also kind of a supplement in supporting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, the most important thing in this case is that your parents support you as well, because I mean, obviously there's a lot of people out there who, like, when they don't have anything to fall back on, it's just really hard for them to be able to cover any kind of cost in terms of traveling, because being unsponsored is such a difficult thing to do, which is obviously something that you're going through right now, because you're searching for a new sponsor, because
mm-hmm.
paying for a flight, paying for a hotel room, paying for your food there, paying for your Uber from the airport to the hotel, paying for your Uber from the airport to the hotel, like it is not an easy life for sure. Like,
no, it's not. And then you just have to make those sacrifices, in which I'm okay making, because not everything's easy. And the thing is, though, like, I honestly didn't think my parents are going to 100% back me up with this. Like, I thought they were going to tell me, you need to go get a job, and this is not your thing. But after my parents saw my suffering with high school, like, me losing my scholarships in track and football, like, they knew, like, that mentally, like, messed me up, because honestly, if I never got into that car accident, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Like, I would be in college right now, probably grinding for like the track season or the off season in football. Like, who knows what I would be doing. Mm-hmm. So ever since they saw me like suffer through all that, they were just like, yo, we'll support you on whatever you want to do. You want to play video games? Do it. And they're like, we'll be right behind you 100%. And my parents are like my biggest fans. My dad, whenever he gets a chance, he's like, I want to go to your next tournament, and I'll bring my dad with me. And then my mom will be watching at home, and then they'll be supporting me. I get a top 8. My dad's hella proud. If I do bad, my dad is still hella proud. I got 49 as CEO, and my dad still put a smile on my face and told me, like, yo, I'm still proud of you. You got 49, but that's okay, because it's a new game. You'll learn. Like, it's fine. Like, dude, CEO, I was super emo. Like, I was so emo. And, like, me and my dad, we just had, like, the longest conversation. He's like, dude, you'll be fine. It's just a tournament, trial and error, So, huge shout-outs to them, because without them, like, I wouldn't be who I am. For sure.
Of course. And in an alternate world where if you got that track sponsorship, would fighting games and all the streaming, would this have ever happened?
Probably not, because the thing is, though, like, I was actually thinking about, I'm like, imagine yourself being a D1 athlete, in either it's like football, track, basketball. Like, you have no time. You have school, you have practice, you have study hall, and you're constantly traveling to every different game. Right. You can't just go to your coach and say, hey, coach, I have a major this weekend.
Right.
You have a game to play. Well, coach, get off my team. And then, boom, there goes your scholarship. So I was literally thinking that. I'm like, damn, like, there cannot be a D1 athlete that's super good at football and video games at the same time. Because most of the times when these seasons are happening, they intertwine with each other. I'm like, dang, that can't happen. But can you also imagine, Baker Mayfield, D1 player for Oklahoma, also professional gamer in Injustice. Like, can you imagine that headline? But it obviously can't happen, because they're constantly playing and doing college football stuff, and it's like, nah, that can't happen.
Yeah, that's way too much. Like, that's way too much juggling of things, like being a full-time athlete and a full-time, like, competitive fighting game player. Like, I know they're both the same. I consider them, they're both the same thing. They're both athletes, but I guess it's like juggling 2 professional sports at the highest level at the same time, which is
correct.
Yeah. And
a lot of people will debate with you that esports isn't really a thing, or like we shouldn't be considered athletes. In my opinion, I think we're athletes. 100%. I think so.
100%.
Because, I mean, we're not doing physical work, but honestly, if you look at the things that happens to us, like, during tournaments, and the amount of things that are, like, running through our minds, and, like, just the emotions and the stress, for sure, we're definitely up there.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
And it's super demanding of just like mental strength,
Yep.
reactions, finger nimbleness, like wrist health, hand health. Like there's, I mean, my boss, you know, I guess Rick Fox, he one time gave us a lecture on this, saying being an athlete is head to toe, emphasis on head to toe, and that applies in this case with the hands, with the mind, just all that stuff.
Yep.
Now another thing that I wanted to get into is your Injustice 2 career, like from my eyes, has been slowly trending upwards when it comes to placements. You got 13th at your first tournament in Combo Breaker, and then you said 49th at CEO, and then you got 17th at EVO, which relative to how many attendees at EVO is still an impressive opinion in like the public eye. I know to you like top 8 means a lot more, but 17th at least relative is super impressive. And then there was like that kind of slow season where you weren't able to understandably travel as much.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got top 8 at Last Chance Qualifier, you got top 8 at Winter Class, and then you got top 8 at some more of the gods.
Yeah.
What did anything change in your mindset throughout that time which allowed you to overcome that like mental block? Like, did something change in your grinding schedule? Did something change in your mindset? Was it matchups? Like, how did you all of a sudden go from being like that 13th place guy to like getting top 8 at these online tournaments back to back and at the Stack Last Chance Qualifier? Like, what happened?
It was mainly like, for example, like playing you a lot, like I realized that my patience needed a lot of work, that I needed to stop. Like this, I was like, this is not MKX. I cannot literally just, you know, oki you every single time and just run into your face and like be like consistently neutral and block and play a whole mind game. I'm like, I'm playing a complete different game and a complete different character. So like at the Last Chance Qualifier, I realized I'm like, okay, I've been working on my patience a lot.
Right.
And this like, I need to stop making poor decisions and like just play things out slowly, like very, very slowly. And then I picked up Supergirl and I was like, okay, I really need to grind Supergirl for my bad matchups. And, you know, I just been doing that. I just been working on my patience a lot. Now, you know, the whole top 8s on the online thing, you know, that's all nice and all, but to me, that's never enough. It's never enough, because online, like, yes, you can say I got top 8 at War of the Gods or the Winter Clash or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, if I don't have a top 8 at an offline tournament, I'm not satisfied. I mean, even though with my top 8 at KIT, my very first top 8, I'm still not satisfied because I want more. And then Last Chance Qualifier, I'm still not satisfied because I want more. Like, I just want to be, that guy's like, yo, Toxin's actually like a top player. Like he's improving. Like I just want to like, man, I don't know how to explain it, but like I just want to get better. That's why like now I'm just grinding and I just want to get better at it.
Yeah, of course.
All right, I'll tell him in a bit. Whatchamacallit, like just recently we had a local here and King actually showed up and it was me and him in grand finals. And I was watching our set like just recently because I like to rewatch my matches just to see like what I could do differently. And watching my Supergirl play in that matchup, I realized like how patient and how like slow I was playing. I was like, I wasn't being so aggressive. Like King, he is one of the most hardest people I ever tried to open up in tournament. Like we literally played, I think it was like 9 games in that grand finals. And it was just constant back and forth, like playing so slow, waiting for him to make a mistake, make a right read or something like that. And I'm like, that's exactly how I need to play every single time.
Of course. Wow, so essentially what I got from this is patience is key. Especially...
Yeah, patience is key. And especially like, this is not MKX where you can just rush down and, you know, constantly put your opponent into a guessing game. Like, I mean, Scarecrow kind of does that with his down 1 mind games. But I mean, like, it's just like, once you get push block, it's not like, oh, let me go right back in. Just take your time, like rethink strategies, rethink what's gonna happen. Because after a while, your opponent starts to pick up your tendencies, and that's when it goes all downhill. And that's what I also notice. Sometimes I get too repetitive. I'm like, yo, I'm like constantly jumping after this, or I'm constantly pressing forward 2 after this, and they're reading it every single time. I was like, I need to mix things up real quick.
Right. And I feel like patience in tournament is also super duper important. No. Regardless of who you play against. Let me give you an example. So SoCal Regionals 2017, which is a tournament that I won. In pools, I fought some guy named Shinobi Dark. You know, he's a solid Supergirl player. He knew.
Okay, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, I knew he knew exactly what he was doing, but I didn't know about him at the time because he was known in MKX, but since I was around, I didn't know of him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was up 2-0, and then I guess in a way I got cocky in my head where I said, okay, like I'm up 2-0, let me just finish this off real quick. Let me just dash in, jump in, and just finish this match off real quick. But then he played Supergirl, and when I tried to, like, quote-unquote finish the match real quick, I just kept running into down ones. I kept running into down twos. I kept dashing into down one breaths. I kept dashing into back 1, 2, 3. And then, so it was 2-1, and then I said, okay, you know what, that was a fluke, whatever. I've never heard this guy, so let me just finish this real quick. And again, being the genius that I am, dashed into some down ones, dashed into some down twos, and then it's 2-2 with, like, the entire freaking universe, like, watching behind me.
Yeah.
So, at that 2-2 moment, that's where, like you brought up, the patience is like the life or death scenario. The patience is what's going to decide if you forward dash your way into the loser's bracket, or if you, like, calm down and methodically make your way out of pools. So, I mean, just like what happened with you and King, I just kind of took a breather real quick. I said, okay, like, this guy clearly is a very, very good player, so I just calmed down, reacted to movement, waited for my turn, and then it all turned out to be A-okay. So, just like you brought up, sometimes just chilling the heck out gets you a really, really long way in tournament, no matter who you're fighting against, whether someone you don't know or someone you know. It really pays off for sure.
And I don't care if you think it's a lame play style. You're not in my position. I am trying to win. I want to win.
There's a lot of money on the line.
If I have to play lame, I'll play lame. And like I said, just watching me in King's match is just literally us walking back and forth, and like literally there were moments where we were sitting in each other's face for like 3 seconds, like, okay, who's gonna press the button? You gonna send the bats? Yeah. And he's like, no, okay, I'm gonna walk back again.
Oh my god, the mind games, bro. The fucking
it's
mind
crazy.
Games. And like just like you said, how like being a lame player, it's not engaging to the viewers, and in a way I understand that. I understand like when you watch any kind of fighting game, just being the zone or being the lame player, it's not the most stimulating thing to watch. But then this just kind of goes out to some of the viewers who don't like watching that playstyle. If you were in our shoes and there was life-changing money on the line, there's thousands to hundreds of $1,000s on the line, and you know for a fact that being a lame player is what's going to be the stepping stone to that life-changing money, what would you do?
Exactly.
Would you want to be that entertaining player to get a few cheers in the crowd, which is fine if that's what you want to do, whatever floats your boat? Or do you want to play a little lame and piss off a few viewers to have a chance at like either $150,000 or $250,000? It's
just like
it's a straightforward question.
Yeah, and then it's just like the mentality where people they play low tier characters. They're like, oh, I want to play a low tier character because no one plays it and the crowd loves it. I'm like, okay, but then when you get mopped in pools, like, don't go complaining on how bad this game sucks and all that stuff. You're just like, bro, I don't want to play top tier. I'm like, well, then that's kind of your fault. And it's just the same way, like, playing lame, like, it's going to get you that money. But if you want to be that entertaining guy and impress the crowd, like, yeah, you're going to get brownie points, but you're not going to get money. Like, my brother saw you at CEO, and my brother played Aquaman in Justice 1. He's like, yo, Theo's Aquaman's kind of lame. I'm like, what's good with you? He's like, bro, he's just sitting back and throwing down from the deeps and Trident Rush. I'm like, yeah? Well, there's $150,000 on the line or whatever. Like, whatever the pop bonus was, $20,000, whatever. And my brother goes, oh, in that case, play lame, Theo. Do your thing.
It makes perfect sense. And in another case, like, let's say you're someone who plays kind of a low-tier or mid-tier character, and then obviously you complain that the game sucks because your character sucks.
Yep.
Like, one thing I've always wanted to say is, like, bro, I don't see any handcuffs on you. Like, no one's fucking, like, cuffing your hand saying you can only play that character. There's 29 other characters. Look at all these. There's so many great characters in this game to choose from, bro. It makes the game so much more fun. No one's forcing you to play, like, what's a character that sucks? No one's forcing you. No one's forcing you to play Beetle, man. Just there's Catwoman, there's Supergirl. They're fun characters, bro. Play them.
Yep. Same thing when people ask me, why are you playing Dr. Fate? Well, I would like to increase my arsenal. You don't need to learn Fate. All you need to know is how to throw projectiles, sit behind an orb, and forward 2 glyph. I'm like, okay, if that's what you think, then, that's what you think. But I think Fate's fun. I'm like, this character's actually really fun. And then when you do on combos, you feel like a god.
Yeah, exactly. Even though there's some people in this podcast right now that pride themselves for being the onkless Fate, but whatever. So I brought up the last chance qualifier earlier, and there's this question that I was kind of, asking myself on random. And since you participated in the tournament, I just want to ask you this. So with a lot of last chance qualifiers, the winner fights the top seed of the tournament that leads that you go from the last chance qualifier, if it makes sense. Like if you won, you would have fought either Dragon or Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree rationally that the winner of the last chance qualifier should fight the number 1 seed? Because on paper, to me, it makes sense, but I feel like when you quantify it, there's like question marks. So what do you think about that?
To be honest, with the recent things that have been with the recent events that have been happening, for example, at the last chance qualifier, you had Foxy and you had King that made it. Both of them made top 4 in the E-League. So, I mean, to an extent, no, they shouldn't fight the first seed, because I think it's more like, hey, congratulations, you made the last chance qualifier, but for your punishment on not doing well in the main season, but you did well in the last chance qualifier, you have to fight the first seed. So, good luck with that. That kind of doesn't seem fair. But the thing is, Theo, where would you put him instead, though? Like, would you just mix him up in the middle, or?
That's the thing. I'm not trying to, like, I don't disagree with like the logic behind it. If someone came out today and said that's the way it's supposed to be, then that's fine.
That's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah.
Because let's describe this on paper. On paper, when you play in the last chance qualifier, that means you qualified at the last chance, which means you're technically the worst player there on paper.
On paper, yes, technically.
But now let's look at it from another scenario. So imagine you're the number 1 seed of like the biggest tournament of the year. Wouldn't you at least want like a week or 2 to prepare for your opponent? Like, why should the number 1 seed be punished by not knowing who their opponent is going to be? Because it's like Sonic and Dragon, they had no idea who they were supposed to prepare for going into E-League. So shouldn't they at least like have an opponent they can prepare for at least? Like that's another devil's advocate that I want to bring up.
Yeah, I think you should have. Yeah, I think you should have been given a week, because literally it was the last chance qualifier, and that following weekend they had a fight, right?
Yeah, and look at Capcom Cup. Like Nemo won the last chance qualifier, so Punk literally had less than 24 hours to prepare for Nemo. So then you have situations like that.
See, that's more of something where Capcom may have screwed up, because the last chance qualifier was literally the last chance qualifier, and then the next day, oh, now you're in Capcom Cup. But then for E-League, we had about like a week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you should be given at least a week, because just getting thrown some random, not really some random, but like, you never know who's going to make the last chance qualifier. Oh, hey, surprise, you have to fight White Boy first round. It's like, oh, I didn't expect this. Now I got to somehow fight Scarecrow now. Like,
yeah.
No, I don't think that's fair. I think you should at least be given a week or so to prepare for your opponent.
Exactly, because I mean, with these last chance qualifiers, like I said, on paper it should be a group of the lowest seeded players, which, again, I use this term a lot. On paper means the worst players there, but Foxy's definitely not one of the worst players. King is definitely not.
Definitely not.
Like the grand finals at Capcom Cup's last chance was Infiltration and Nemo, 2 players who are definitely like top, no matter who you ask.
Yep.
So it's like when you quantify that, like, so much more questions become asked. But I mean, at the end of the day, it makes sense. At the end of the day, it's more like, what if you give last chance qualifier to the middle seed, or like the 2nd seed, or the 3rd seed? But then that's gonna raise like other questions on its own.
Yeah.
How'd you feel getting top 8 though over there? Like, did you feel like you overcame that hurdle, or Did you?
I felt like I definitely overcame that hurdle, especially because not playing since Evo. And when we were all shocked. We were honestly expecting 100 people plus free. But when we showed up, only 40 something people showed up. We're like, dude, these pools are about to be dead. Yeah. And I'm looking at the people around me. I'm like, oh my God, Foxy, King, Slayer, Nivek, White Boy, Smart, like Silver Eye. I'm like, 3 of us are gonna be in a pool, and 1 of us is not gonna make it. I'm like, Biohazard. I'm like, this is death. This is honestly death.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, guys, pools are released. I'm like, I don't even want to look. I don't want to look at my pool because I'm gonna get scared. And I looked at my pool, Illusions, Foxy, and Silver Eye. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't played since Evo, and I'm like, I'm about to drown. I actually, that was my mentality. I told myself, I'm like, I'm gonna drown. Yep, it was nice knowing y'all. This is gonna be terrible. And I played. Oh, and I had Tsunami, the guy who beat Slayer at ECT. I'm like, this guy's gonna beat me. Like, this guy beats Slayer. I'm like, I'm probably gonna somehow lose this match.
Yeah.
And it was Scarecrow. It was actually Scarecrow versus Red Hood, and I 3-0'd him. I was like, okay, we're making moves. And right after that, Illusions. And I'm like, okay, I wonder what Illusions is gonna use. And he used Red Hood. And I was like, okay, I did fairly well against Tsunami. Let me keep going Scarecrow. And the matches weren't really mobs. It was just more like, damn, like I just wasn't making the right reads. Yeah. But then after he eliminated me, I'm like, that's it. I'm not doing this. I'm going Supergirl next. Like, screw this. I'm going Supergirl.
Yeah.
And then I think right after I lost to Illusions, I had to fight Smar. So I beat Smar, and then after Smar, I had to fight Silver Eye. Silver Eye was up 2-1 against me, and like he had like half a life bar left, and I had like barely no life left, and I somehow came back and tied it up 2-2, and I'm like, holy crap, I just came back, like I had to win this. And I actually ended up beating Silver Eye, and then obviously I beat Illusions with a nail biter. That was ridiculous. And then I honestly thought we were gonna have a break because I wanted to eat something, I wanted to drink, and then Ultra David comes up to me, he's like, yo, congrats on making top 8. I'm like, yo, thanks, man. And he's like, oh, by the way, top 8 starting now. I'm like, what? I'm like, we don't get a break or anything like that? They're like, no, top 8 starts now. I was like, oh my God. And then I had to fight Star Charger. I didn't do so well, but a lot of people were surprised that I wasn't salty because when I lost, like I was still smiling and like chilling. So everyone's like, yo, like you're not salty. Like even like Dragon tags me, he's like, yo, like you're not salty. I'm like, no, like for not playing since Evo and not traveling since Evo, like I think I did fairly decent. Like yes, I could have done better. But to be honest, like as like right now in my position, I am pleased with the way I played. I got top 8 at the last chance qualifier, and this was a really, really stacked tournament. I'm okay. I can go home. I can go drive this 6 hours with a big smile on my face.
For sure.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Now, kind of bouncing off that. So you got 7th at last chance qualifier, right? Would you rather? I made a joke about this on Twitter once. Would you rather have gotten 7th or 3rd at that tournament?
3rd. Free. I'd rather get 3rd. Why? Because that means I beat everyone else to get there. Yes, you may have missed one placing, but it still means that you got 3rd and you were like there. But 7th literally means you made top 8 and you lost your first match. Like that's not good. So I'd rather made top 8, beat everyone else, and get to 3rd, and then somehow end up losing. I'd rather hold the 3rd place than the 7th place.
What if the 3rd place was like a 3-2 though?
I'll still hold it. I'll still hold the 3rd place.
Oh my God, yo!
I still rather hold the 3rd place.
Because my match to get into top 8 at Injustice Pro Series was a really, really close 3-2 against Scar, so I could have easily like been at the last chance qualifier. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'd rather have gotten like 17th at last chance qualifier, losing to Johnny Donuts and like XX Boppy Chulo 28XX than getting like 3rd place at that, dude. But I admire you being okay with 3rd place. Like again, that takes a lot of mental resilience to accept something like that.
I mean, it was just like mainly as like me like in high school, I was always like the underdog in all my sports. Like in football, like people looked at me like, yo, what's this Puerto Rican / half Hispanic Asian kid trying to play football? Like, because mind you, I went to a school where it was very dominated by whites. Like it was very, very like a lot of white people were in it. So, you know, when I went to go join the football team, I had a couple of friends that I knew, and, you know, most of the top, like, the very, very good players were like, yo, you're just some Asian/Hispanic guy who probably doesn't know how to play. And then, like, I played, and they're like, holy crap, like, you're actually, like, pretty decent. And then I think it was, like, my first senior game, I got, like, the biggest hit of the season on a kickoff return, or on a kickoff. And then ever since then, like, everyone changed their opinions on, you know, judging people by the cover. So, like, I was always the underdog back in high school. So that's why, like, I'd rather take the third place, because it's just, like, it pleases me. Yeah. Like, I'd rather just aim for higher things than have low expectations. Like, yes, 7th is nice. 3rd, you get the salty 3rd, and you were, like, one step away. But knowing that I beat everyone else to get the 3rd place, I'd rather just take that than just make top 8, lose your very first match, walk home with 7th place.
Right, because getting 3rd at, like, let's just say KIT is significantly different from getting 3rd at the last chance qualifier.
Correct.
Again,
yes.
Your 3rd at last chance qualifier means you're one placement away from getting flown out to.
Yep.
But again, kind of moving on from that, one thing that I guess I kind of saved the best question for last is, again, since Florida was known for being Ermac down players, you get to have the spotlight on what's your feelings towards Scarecrow. Another very controversial topic depending on who you ask. So the spotlight is yours, Toxin. How do you feel about Scarecrow, bro?
Scarecrow? Oh man. I'd say it's top 10. In my honest opinion, I say he's top 10. His only losing matchups, I'd say, still is probably for sure Batman. Batman is the only matchup I think he gets. Okay, no, I lied. Batman and Green Arrow probably get 7-3'd by both those characters, in my opinion. Red Hood is a debatable 6-4. Depending on how the Red Hood is. Because I've been Red Hood players, and there have been Red Hood players where I just cannot get anything started. So, I mean, that one's just tough to call. Dr. Fate, again, that one's a little bit debatable. Like, it's just, I think it's honestly whoever gets started in that matchup, and if you make the right reads, Scarecrow can excel in that matchup.
Right.
Other than that, I'm trying to think of any other character that he probably, like, either goes even or loses by.
I feel like also, sorry to cut your thought off.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Scarecrow kind of has that Flash and Black Canary factor where I feel like his tier placement is so different in first to 3 than it is in a long set. Because it's like in a first to 3, that essentially means he needs like 3 to 6 corner scenarios to steal the set away from you. Whereas in a really, really long set, you have to be a lot more patient using him, you know?
Yes.
But yeah, carry on with how you feel about the character.
Yeah, no, that's definitely right. Like, the whole first to 3 scenario, Scarecrow is definitely a very, very, very strong character in a first to 3 scenario. Long sets, yes, after a while, your opponent starts to adapt, things start to go downhill. But the thing is, though, I honestly think where he stands right now, I think he's fine. Yes, the whole down 1 mind game could be a little bit messed up, but then you also got to look at it like Bane has a command grab that can't be punishable unless you back 3 it. But it's just like, if you do anything else to Scarecrow right now, I think it would honestly just hurt him. Like, the +6, to an extent, yes, I can see where it's kind of messed up. Like, it is +6. Like, that is a lot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, do you know how many things, like, we have to, like, consider into factors? Like, we have to be scared if you're going to try to backdash, if you're going to read the jump, or, like, it's just a lot. Like me, or, like, push block. Like, me, for example, when I spend the +6 bar, I'm like, okay, I have 3 options right now. Or actually, maybe even 4. I'm either going to do raw command grab, standing 2-2 to check you from backdashing, meter burn back 3 and waste another bar in case you try to backdash, or am I going to down 1 you into command grab because I think you're going to respect it, or am I going to down 1 into another fear blast thinking that you're going to try to disrespect my frames? So that's like 5 things. That's like 5 options I have, which is OD, but sometimes if you make the right one, you can punish me, like certain characters, or I just absolutely lose my turn and I have to work my way back in.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So,
But in my honest opinion, top 10 for sure. Top 10.
So you're saying at most, how many matchups does he lose?
Dang. Mind if I boot up my console? I can probably look at it.
Yeah. I mean, take all the time. Take all the time you need. If you need a list to give an accurate opinion, go for it, bro.
Yeah. Let me get this young accurate opinion. Because honestly, like for sure, he loses to Green Arrow and Batman. Like those are the ones I honestly think he loses to. Mainly because like I thought the teleport buff was gonna help him out with the whole the bat scenarios and the zoning, but still his jump 2 and his plus frames just still destroy Scarecrow. And if like he has the bats out and you're +6, you have to be scared of the bats and all that stuff. So I was like, that's a little tough. Green Arrow's just Savage Blast, zoning. That one's tough also. I think I mostly run that matchup with illusions whenever I can. And that one was just like, oh my god, like I can't do this. Like even if I make a teleport read, it's just down 1 into Ice Blast or down 1, bow arrow. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not using Supergirl in this matchup. I mean, Scarecrow, sorry. All right, loading in the game now. But those two are definitely 7-3s. Those are for sure 7-3s.
I love the classic PlayStation boot up noise you have.
Oh, yes. I love that theme. I had to buy it. I had to. All right. Let's see here. So, Starfire, probably a 5-5 in that matchup. Ivy, 5-5. Brainiac, I think, is 6-4 Crow. Raiden, 6-4 Crow. Bane is 5-5. Deadshot, probably now with post-patch, 6-4 Crow. Debatable. Cheetah, probably 5. Cheetah's probably 6-4 Crow. Robin, 5-5. That one's really tough. Grodd, I haven't really played many Grods, but I'd say this is 6-4 Crow. Atrocitus is 5-5. Captain Cold with the nerfs now, probably 6-4 Crow. Black Adam is 6-4 Crow. Joker, I haven't really played many good Jokers, but from what I played, it was Hans. So I'd say like 5-5 because he has the parry. So like I kind of have to like be careful when matching down 1. Superman, I'd say 5-5.
Okay.
Wonder Woman, probably 5-5. Darkseid, 6-4 Crow, debating. It's just, once Darkseid is knocked down, just gotta react, not react, but just bait out his wake ups, and Scarecrow just jumps over, jump 3s it and just punishes you for it every time. Red Hood is 6-4 Red Hood. Batman 7-3. Black Canary probably 6-4 Crow. Aquaman is probably 5-5. Harley, I play Bios. It's probably I say 5-5 because her zoning is her zoning's pretty good and she constantly builds meter, so she's like constantly like push blocking me, so I always have to work my way in.
Right.
Green Lantern, I haven't played a really, really good Green Lantern since Gross, but I'd say it's probably 5-5. Firestorm is 6-4 Firestorm because the Molten Trap always puts the fear of me having to move in. His wake up is really good, and what else is there that throws me off? His instant, it's not really instant, but his 5-frame jump 1 prevents me from jumping in and keeping on my pressure. Flash, oh my god, this one's tough.
Everyone's favorite character.
I'd say 6-4 Flash because a lot of people are finding out the tech with Scarecrow is literally just pop trade and neutral, and Scarecrow can literally whiff a button and you just punish him every time. So I'd say 6-4 Flash. Beetle probably 6-4 Crow. Catwoman 6-4 Catwoman. Fate's probably 5-5. Green Arrow 7-3. Cyborg probably 6-4 Crow. Swamp Thing 6-4 Crow. Supergirl 5-5. Black Manta's 5-5. Sub-Zero 6-4 Scarecrow. And Hellboy, I haven't really played much Hellboy, but I lost some Titanium Tigers in one of the War of the Gods, but I don't know, that's not really much, but as of right now, I would have it at 5-5 Crow. I mean 5-5.
Yeah, I mean I guess that all makes sense. Is that the end of the matchup chart?
That's the end of the matchup list, yeah.
Wow.
So that's why I have Crow at top 10 because it just has some losing matchups, but not a lot.
that's the. I mean, I guess that's the best way we'll end the podcast, even because I wrote on Twitter saying, "Is Toxin a down player or is he a reasonable man?" And I guess throughout the podcast we can confirm with the chat that you are an incredibly reasonable man. So.
Lit.
So besides that, since we already came across the hour, this is the part. Spotlight is yours, man.
Oh man. Shout outs to you, Theo, for doing this. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for having me on here.
Sure.
I think this is something that we definitely need, because MKX, I don't think there was really any one-on-one podcast. If anything, the closest thing we got to that was Pig's Red Hot Sundays, where people would just hop in a Skype call and, you know, we'll all just talk amongst ourselves. But an actual one-on-one podcast, like, not that I can think of, no. So, like, I really do appreciate, like, what you're doing here, because I think this is great for us. Like, a lot of people, like, you know, when you put this on YouTube, for the people that just follow strictly on YouTube, they can actually, like, get to know a little bit more of their players or a specific someone or all that stuff, because a lot of people don't know, like, half the players they're rooting for.
Sure.
So honestly, like, I think, like, having a personal conversation and, like, getting to know more about them and all this stuff, like, I think it's great. Yeah. I think it's great. So shout outs to you. Probably my friends, whoever watched this, Elliot, shout outs to you. You're the reason why I got this. Freaking started me with Mortal Kombat, so shout outs to you. My mom and dad, obviously. And that's about it. That's all I got with shout outs.
For sure, man. And of course, a big shout out to you for taking the time, especially on a Monday, to come on and do this with me. It's really been awesome. And yeah, guys, so that concludes another episode of Last Podcast of Krypton. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and give Toxin's Twitch and Twitter a follow, and please go ahead and give that channel a follow. There won't be an episode this week because of NEC, so I'll see you guys the week after. Thank you guys so much, and y'all have a great day.